Welcome back to another episode of North of the Lake Sports Talk Live with your boy, Amon Rashawn. I'm feeling better. We back in studio, and we got some football for y'all this week. And like I said, we're going to jump right into things. But first, before we do that, we got to give love to our sponsors. That's The Insurance Depot. That's 985-618-3222 for personal insurance, business insurance, health insurance, and life insurance. They also do taxes. Make sure you reach out to Mr. Kevin and Miss Reva Jackson. That's at 985-618-3222. That's 985-618-3222. That's Mr. Kevin and Miss Reva Jackson. That is our sponsor. Shout out to our sponsors. They do all of my insurance, whether it's house insurance, whether it's car insurance, whether it's life insurance or personal insurance. They are the people you want to call. That's the Insurance Depot at 985-618-3222. Please reach out to my people over there at the Insurance Depot. But without further ado, we got to get right into things. It's been a great week of football, and tangible horror. Louisiana football in general. We've seen LSU go down in Tiger Stadium and handle business against a lesser opponent in South Alabama. And also those Saints lost a close one to the Atlanta Falcons. Man, they had me over here about to have a heart attack today. We know how the Saints do. Just as soon as the scores come back around, I'm going to give y'all all the scores from the North Shore. Also, a little bit of college football here in Louisiana. And then, like I said, we say the best for last. We got to get those Saints. We got to get those Saints. We got to get those Saints opinions, man. I'm going to start this tick over so we can get back into it. This is North of the Lake Sports Talk Live. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's at NOTL Mom. We are streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and now Instagram. That's at NOTL Podcast. Share and repost this live if you are watching. If you would like to support the platform, the Cash App is at the bottom of the screen. But let's get right into things. Louisiana High School football, week 4, Independence, game of the week, 27-8 over Laranja. That game was very testy. Hammond over L.W. Higgins, 47-6. Franklinton over Fountain Blue, 61-13. Salmon over Liberty Magnet, 34-38. St. Paul's gets the win over John F. Kennedy, 25-22. The Amy Warriors get the win over Sat Helena, 29-26. Pine over Pearl River, 28-20. Shout out to Pearl River. Kentwood, 35-34 over Laranja. Close game out there. Covington over North Shore, 28-0. St. James over Ponchatoula, 35-13. Mandeville over Slidell, 56-14. Riverside over St. Thomas Aquinas, 67-0. Jules Simon Rose again, 45-0 over Livonia. And we get to those LSU Tigers, 42-10 over South Alabama. Grambling takes the L, 36-34. FIU over Louisiana Tech, 17-10. ULL with a big upset, I think, 41-38. Tarleton over Southeastern, 36-33. McNeese over Weber State, 28-26. The Saints go down at a late second field goal, 26-24. Like I said, it was a very interesting week in Tangy football. And shout out, we got a comment. Shout out to my guy, Coach Buckles. Coach, shout out, hey man, shout out to you for the big win, man. You got them boys out there playing. Stay tuned, Coach. We got a couple players of the week coming from Hammer High School. I told them I wasn't going to be biased, Coach, but it is what it is. Look, you got our boys out there balling. So, without further ado, man, we gotta get Coach Fleet in on this action, man. Coach, how you doing, baby?
I'm doing good, man. I like yourself.
Hey, man, I'm feeling good. Our Hammer High Tornadoes got the win. LSU took care of business, and it was some pretty interesting games. Excuse me, here in Tangible Hope Parish, man. And we got to get into that. Starting out, man. Give me some players of the week, Coach.
Now I want to start off with Aiden Self, one of the Hammer High linebackers, man. He had a great game. I think he had 5 tackles, an interception, fumble recovery, man, a sack. Man, he had a hell of a game. He was wherever the ball was at, he was at. So he got our defensive player of the week.
And this is him right here on the interception. Nice going up and getting the ball against who do we play? I'm sorry, it slipped my mind.
Play Higgins.
L.W. Higgins. Shout out to Aiden Self, and we've seen what our Hammer High Tornadoes are capable of. They've been playing great defense all year, man. Shout out to Coach Buckles. Coach Buckles was in the comments earlier. He might got something there. Yeah, I appreciate it. Look, Coach, we appreciate you, man. You got some boys out there balling. I'm smiling ear to ear. I'm trying not to be biased on it over here, Coach, but man, we looking good, man. And
Man,
we
Coach
got
Buckets for president, man. Coach Buckets for president.
Coach Buckles
What's
for
up?
president. No doubt. Look, we're gonna leave no doubt this year, man. Shout out to the job that Coach Buckles doing out there. Coach, we're gonna have you next week, man. I'm about to have you come up here and talk about them Hammer High Tornadoes and Tangy football, man. So shout out to Coach Buckles and the Hammer High Tornadoes, man. But we got another guy. So let's try to break some of this bias with a guy from Ponchatoula. I mean, I'm sorry, not Ponchatoula. Somebody must be talking about me over there at Ponchatoula. But we got a guy out there at Kentwood, man, out there making some noise right now. Talk about this guy, Jermaine Brown.
Jermaine Brown Jr., man. He's a track guy, man. Also shows on this pilot right here, man. Whenever he got the ball, man, they had to catch him, man. It didn't work out well. So
I mean, he is moving. You can see it on just how he separates.
Speed, and more speed.
Goes up there and high points the
Go
ball
up high
for
point.
a touchdown. Looks like. Let's see if
he had a great game, man, against LaRonja. He was the X factor of that game.
And this is Jermaine Brown against LaRonja. They did get the win 35-34 over the LaRonja Wolves. Shout out to the Kentwood Kangaroos, man. I think that's the first time that we have showed a Kentwood guy. So shout out to y'all. We are paying attention up there in North Tangy, man, under that water tower. So shout out to Jermaine Brown. And I gotta bring it back home again, man. You know, I know y'all think I'm being biased, but Hammond High is really playing some football, man. And let's see if we got another comment over here. Coach said that sounds great, Coach. I look forward to talking with you, man. I know it's been a while. I've been over here working, man. So we definitely got to get caught up in, but so far I love what I'm seeing from my Hammer High Tornadoes at Coach Buckles out there, man. But I do believe we have one more guy, and this is another Hammer guy. I'm not being biased, y'all. I'm gonna let the film speak for itself. But we got Zaylen Bennett. I think this is his second or third time being named Player of the Week. So let's check him out here, man. He is. He's loose. He's in open field.
This right here is a 61-yard run. And this is, I think,
off me in the end zone.
He had a 100-yard game every game this year so far, man. He really playing some good ball out there. Also, give credit to the Hammer High offensive line as well, too.
Yeah, that O-line is creating those holes, man. I mean, you could drive a bus through some of them holes that we seeing out there for Hammer High, man. So shout out to Kentwood. Shout out to the Hammer High Tornadoes. Also, game of the week. We getting ready to get here in a minute. Independence beats Albany 27 to have the score here 27-8. So shout out to the Independence Tigers. It's been a rough year for them. We'll get into that a little later. I'm not going to touch too much on the things that some people may want me to touch on, but let's talk about some of the teams that impressed, man. Let's start out with Sumner. Sumner improves to 4-0 on the season. Excuse me. Beating LaRonja 35-34 in a close game, man. Speak on Sumner and what you're saying from the Sumner Cowboys.
Sumner right now, they rank number 9 in 3A, man. They in the top 10 in the 3A bracket. And they what they showing this year, they showing they run the wing T offense, and it fits them very. They got a big line, they got big backs, and they got a little bitty flanker back that's fast. So man, it's working today, Ted, man. I think them and they meet in Pine. It's gonna be up in the air who's gonna win that district this year.
Shout out to the Sumner Cowboys, man. Even going back to last year when I was reporting their scores, they scored a lot of points. I still haven't got out there to Sumner to see you guys, but I got to get out there and make it my business to see the Sumner Cowboys. Hopefully, Hammer High may play on a Thursday and Sumner plays on a Friday. I got to get out there to see what's going on in Sumner because, like I said, they putting up points, man. It's 45-0 over Livonia, man. What an impressive win for the Sumner Cowboys. It's actually Livonia. I'm sorry, I put LaRonja here, but it's Livonia. Shout out to them. I do have that right, Coach.
Yes, Livonia.
Livonia. So, and like I said, all bias aside, Hammer High is now 3-1 on the season, and been putting up a nice amount of points here in the later half of the season. Did lose the first game in Denver Springs, but I see this team starting to establish an identity, and they look for real, man. So give me what you think about our Hammer High Tornadoes without some bias.
Oh, I think about the Hammer High, man. I think that's what I like about the Taurus so far. Out of the 4 games they played, 2 were 5A teams. We lost the last minute to Denver Springs, and we have the business against East St. John. Also, we played a top 10 3A team, A Meet, and handled business. And Higgins not really well known 5A team. They're a 5A team, so I feel like we're better tested going into district soon. We play Slidell next week. They're not our district anymore, But that's another 518 we can get a W on and go into district battle tested.
I'm looking for big things from our Hammer High Tornadoes. Homecoming is coming up October the 11th. I will be out there and I will be lit. Okay, so I'm looking forward to that homecoming, man. It's gonna be wild. It's gonna be wild, man. But let's go ahead and get you out of here and get to our game of the week. Excuse me. Game of the week for this week was Independence gets revenge, and I'm gonna leave it. I'm not gonna leave this one alone, but Independence gets revenge 27-8 over Auburn. And I talked to somebody that was out there at that Independence game, and we all know what happened to Independence. And you know, those kids, you know, was kind of put in a particular situation that we will say. And I heard they was fired up and they took down Auburn in 27-8. Man, talk about the resilience from the Independence Tigers, man.
I mean, you can't do nothing but have a chip on your shoulder going to a game like that, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just something to prove, man. Send a message. They sent the message.
They sent the message. So shout out to Independence Tigers. I will be getting out there to see you guys too. You know, I am a resident of Independence. You know, a lot of people may not know that. A lot of my family's from Independence. So shout out to the Independence Tigers. And they also got Coach Tofield out there coaching and Coach Kirby. Shout out to Coach Kirby and those Independence Tigers for that win, man. Do you have anything for this week coming? You said Hammer High versus Slidell. Do we have anybody else in the parish to watch for next week?
Amy Kentwood.
Amy Kentwood is next week, really?
Rival game. So watch that for that. I'm not sure the location. Not sure the location, but yeah, man, it's gonna get a rival game next week, man. So look out for that one.
Hammond Slidell is Thursday.
Yes, sir. It's Thursday.
So that one is Friday.
Yeah. So
I might be able to catch that one. I might have to go. I don't care where it's at. If it's in the Water Tower or where it's in Amy. Definitely got to catch that. Coach, you got any last words, man? Who are some athletes that we need to watch going into week 5 of Tangy football?
Week 5, man. Amy starting to develop our identity, man. So look out for the receivers. I think his name Brady, number 4. I know. Watch out for Amy receivers. Franklin, I see they put Franklin Morgan more on my offense too. So just watch out for Amy next week too. Also, Kidwood showed a lot, man. So I feel like that game this week gonna be a high scoring game. So
yeah, that's
them 2 games especially. A lot of speed on the field.
Yeah, Kentwood got some. Kentwood, I don't know. I need to ask the people of Kentwood, where y'all find all this talent at, man? Y'all always got some kids that can run out there.
Bloodline. It's that bloodline.
It got a bloodline. Y'all got some dudes that can always run out there at Kentwood, man. It just don't make no sense. It don't make any sense. But Coach, look, we're gonna let you get out of here, man. Let me go on and wrap things up with these LSU Tigers, man. So let me get your opinion on a couple things, man. Alabama, Georgia, what you think about that?
Oh man, I'm gonna say about the SEC is stacked from top to bottom. From top to bottom, bro. I know Florida State and trying to get up in there, but I don't think it's a good idea to go into that conference in that condition they in. So the SEC is stacked. The SEC is the NFL.
The SEC looks good top to bottom. Like I said, you got teams like Kentucky that's giving people games.
Kentucky, they beat Ole Miss
last week, and then they beat Ole Miss this week. So the SEC is any given Saturday now. You know, Vanderbilt is good. Arkansas has a guy that can throw the ball. You know what I'm saying?
And a good running back as well too. So SEC is stacked, man. But my opinion, man, I'm gonna say this: Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, they lead their own. Them 3 teams lead their own, man.
Let me get your take on this right here. This is my top 5. I have Miami coming in at number 5. I have Tennessee at 4, Ohio State at 3, Alabama at 2, Texas at 1. What would you change on this list and why?
I'm gonna talk about Miami. The only way I say Miami is like, bruh, it's like they'll give you a game to where they killing, then they play a game like they did against Virginia Tech, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? They barely making it out. I got a feeling they're gonna cough a game up. But I'll replace Miami with a team like, let's see. I put Georgia at 5, man. I replace Miami with Georgia. Even with an L, I'd replace them.
The only reason why I didn't put Georgia in my top 5 is because I just felt like what I seen against last week against Kentucky and what they did this week against Alabama. I thought Miami and Tennessee had played better football and they got the better athlete at quarterback. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay, that's what you're saying.
Quarterback that can extend the play. So that's why that's my reasoning for putting Miami and Tennessee over Georgia, because Georgia hasn't showed me enough. I'm not sure if Georgia is explosive enough to deal with a Texas or or maybe some of these other, even the LSU. LSU can score. LSU is starting to create identity, and that's my next question. What you think about the LSU Tigers?
LSU, I think they're gonna be all right, man. Cause they battle tested, man. They just got to play their type of style and develop more of a run game, which they getting on. What's the guy name for Duncanville? The running back name?
Aiden Doing.
Okay, they getting him going now, man. So I feel like they getting more of the running game and going with the passer. I think LSU gonna be all right, man. But it's gonna be a tough road, man. Especially with October coming up. So October, November is gonna be a tough road for them. So they gotta find it quick, their identity.
I'm with you on that one, Coach. I'm with you on that one. I'm gonna get you out of here on this one. Them New Orleans Saints, man. What you saying from the New Orleans Saints?
Man, we gotta finish, man. We gotta finish games and stop with the. We gotta finish, man. Take advantage of the opportunity. Take advantage of the opportunity and finish the game. That's it.
Finish the game, Coach. Finish, look, man. We're gonna finish on that note, Coach. I thank you for joining North of the Lake again, man. Like I said, we're gonna keep running this thing, man. Shout out to all our Tangy guys. Shout out to Miami Fitness and all the athletes that come through there. Coach, look,
we're gonna train now, man. So
hey, tell them guys I say what's up. Tell them North of the Lake loves them. Tell them we watching them and tell them we appreciate them. And if they want their highlights on North of the Lake, they want to be a candidate for Player of the Week, please get with Coach Fleet. Please get with myself. Thank you, my brother.
No problem, bro. Be blessed.
All right, you too, brother. I said we want to thank Coach Fleet once again for coming in and giving his expertise. Like I said, Coach Fleet does touch a lot of these athletes here in Tangipahoa Parish. Shout out to our guys here in Tangipahoa Parish, the best in the world. We got the best kids in the world, the best athletes, you name it. They right here in Tangipahoa Parish. You go argue with your mama about that one. But we're gonna go ahead and get into these LSU Tigers, man. LSU improves to 4-1. Beating South Alabama 42-10 in Death Valley. A great night for the LSU Tigers. Garrett Nussmeier is still killing it. Garrett Nussmeier threw for 409 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did have 2 interceptions, but that was not an issue in this game. The star of the game, Caden Durham, man, continues to impress. Caden Durham was 7 of and 128 yards on the ground, a touchdown, and he even added some receiving yards. First play of the game, he took it 71 yards. He had 3 receptions, 89 yards, and a touchdown. Man, it was really impressive for LSU. The opponent was South Alabama, but South Alabama had scored some points up into this game. Their offense was putting up some pretty nice statistics, 60 points in the last 2 games. So this South Alabama team wasn't a pushover. Was they a top Power 4 school? No, but this team wasn't a pushover. So what I was looking for in LSU with this game was dominance, and dominance is what we got. Whether it was Garrett Nussmeier throwing it through the air, whether it was Caden Durham on the ground, or Kyron Lacey, and Aaron Anderson. Aaron Anderson for LSU is coming on right now, and we all know what he was out of Edna Carr. I think a lot of us seen that documentary they had on Amazon Prime with Edna Carr and Aaron Anderson, but he is showing the type of player he can be and the capabilities that he has as a player. So shout out to Aaron Anderson. This LSU offense continues to roll, man. I mean, they are rolling on all cylinders right now with over 600 plus yards against South Alabama. Everybody showed up, even the receivers. Kyron Lacey had 5 receptions, 107 yards. Caden Durham, like I said, 3 for 89 in a touchdown. Aaron Anderson, 6 for 73 in a touchdown. Excuse me. Still trying to get over this cold, y'all. If y'all watched last week, y'all know I was in here balling in sweat trying to get over a cold, but starting to get better here. Mason Taylor added 3 catches for 43 yards, and CJ Daines is coming alive. Xavier Thomas. The list goes on and on, but the LSU Tigers did roll against South Alabama 42-10. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. If you are watching on Facebook, if you are watching on Instagram, YouTube, leave me a comment. I can put the comment on the screen like I did for Coach Buckles here from Hammer High School, head coach at Hammer High School. Shout out to Coach Buckles, my guy. So if you are watching, please leave a comment. But we are talking LSU over South Alabama, 42-10. And right now, we are going to pause for our sponsors. We are sponsored by the Insurance Depot. That number is, let me get that off the screen so I can show you. That number is 985-618-3222. That's the Insurance Depot. personal insurance, business insurance, health insurance, life insurance. They also do taxes. Please holler at my people. That's Mr. Kevin and Miss Reva Jackson. That's at 985-618-3222. I have all my insurance through them. You should get it too, whether it's home insurance, whether it's life insurance, whether it is car insurance, commercial insurance. Please give my people a call at the Insurance Depot. This is North of the Lake, season 2, episode 5. We are talking those LSU Tigers 42-10 against South Alabama. And like I said, South Alabama was not a pushover. They had a very talented quarterback. They flashed at times. You did get to see that a little bit in the game when they did score their 10 points. Could have been 17. LSU had a defensive stand on the goal line. The LSU defense is improving. But the biggest takeaway from this game is Caden Durham, freshman running back out of Duncanville High School. He is the player of the game, in my opinion, and should be running back number 1. I mean, all-purpose yards. The guy had over 200 yards, all-purpose yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, when he touches the ball, it's always a threat of a home run. I mean, he averaged 18 yards a carry. Caden Durham, number 29, running back, freshman from Duncanville High School, averaged 18 yards a carry. And if you add in the receiving yards, I mean, you right around 25 yards a touch for Caden Durham on the night. I mean, that's unbelievable. That is unbelievable from Caden Durham, man. Hey, somebody got to get in Brian Kelly's ear and tell him that you got to play this freshman. I know he is a freshman, you know, but that kind of brings me back to Justin Vincent. You know, a lot of our guys in high school, a lot of younger guys that watch the platform may not remember Justin Vincent, but Justin Vincent was the freshman running back on the 03 LSU championship team. And he kind of broke out like that as a freshman too. I mean, I think he even like led the SEC in rushing that year, if I'm not mistaken, Justin Vincent. And I think Caden Durham paid tribute to Justin Vincent with a touchdown celebration. But, you know, I asked the question, was this the best freshman performance ever? And I'm trying to think hard. Some of my older people on the live, please let me know. Leave it in the comment. I could be tripping, but this is one of the best freshman performances that I can remember. You know, I started thinking about the name Tyrann Mathieu, Patrick Peterson as a freshman, Leonard Fournette as a freshman, Greedy Williams as a freshman. I think he is up there with those guys when you talk about freshmen and performances, man. It was outstanding from Caden Durham on the grounds. They got to get this man more touches. I would put him in Wildcat and just let him run wild. I mean, I would do end and around, sweeps, you name it. You got to get this guy the ball. I mean, he is big time. Big time. I mean, when you average 25 yards a touch in the game, I don't care if you're playing backyard university. I don't care. If you average 25 yards a touch, then something's going on. And LSU got to find a way to get the ball in his hands more often, man, because Caden Durham is maybe he kind of and the name that I didn't bring up was Darius Geis. I know that's a touchy name considering some of the issues he had at LSU and after LSU, but he definitely Caden Durham definitely reminds me of Darius Geis. You know, speed, powerful runner. He kind of reminds me of Darius Geis. I think Darius Geis was one of the most underrated running backs in LSU history. But, man, I think this was one of the best performances ever by a freshman at LSU. I mean, he was carving it up. And then if you go back to that South Carolina game with Caden Durham, man, I mean, he was balling. You know what I'm saying? You know, he was one of the reasons why LSU did pull that win out against South Carolina, man. So we got to show some love to Caden Durham, man. Got to show some love to Caden Durham. I wish I could play some highlights without my video getting flagged, but we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. We're going to keep it clean. But shout out to Caden Durham. LSU, I do believe, is establishing a running game now, which is important. Like I said, Nussmeier is still Nussmeier. But one of the topics I do have to address is the LSU defense. The LSU defense right now is showing signs of improvement. Like I said, we got to keep things in context. They did play South Alabama, but South Alabama was one of the top offenses with one of the top quarterbacks in college football coming into this game. So, you know, it's not, you know, you can't take it lightly because, I mean, they could have also did the opposite. They could have gashed this LSU defense, but they did not. You know, LSU held them to right around 350 yards allowed total yards for the game. That's not bad in today's era. You know, if that would have been 10, 15 years ago, that would have been called a horrible defense, you know. But in today's game, you hold a team to 350 yards total offense, then we'll take that. I mean, it's still not the best, but but it is what it is, you know. Went from the LSU defense, had 3 sacks on the night. They look more sound, they look more comfortable, you know, against this South Alabama team. So LSU defense is improving. They just got to find a way to do it against a tougher opponent, and that tougher opponent will be Ole Miss. LSU has a bye week next week, but then they got Ole Miss coming into Death Valley, and that's going to be one to watch out with Ole Miss coming off that loss to Kentucky. You know, they're going to be hungry, but they don't have that bye week. LSU does. LSU has a bye week before they play Ole Miss, so they're going to be good and rested. So it's going to be interesting to see how they respond coming off that bye week, coming off a big win against South Alabama. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. I am screaming on Facebook. I am screaming on YouTube. I'm screaming on Instagram. Leave me a comment. I will put it on the screen like I did for my boy, Coach Buckles. Just like that, I could put your comment on the screen. Shout out to Coach Buckles and the Hammer High Tornadoes. But right now, we are talking LSU football, and the defense has improved. The best is the best yet to come. We will see. We will see if the best is yet to come from the LSU defense. Like I said, they're gonna get a major test against Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin's offense, man. But you know, just coming out of this game, I am seeing some signs of improvement. You know, I didn't see many coverage busts. I didn't see a lot of missed tackles. They had that huge defensive stand on the goal line. South Alabama had drove the field, got it down into scoring territory right around the 10-yard line. And LSU did make a defensive stand. South Alabama played all 4 downs, and then LSU was able to keep them out of the end zone. That's a big confidence builder for this LSU defense because of what they've been through last year and kind of how they started the season. You know, it hasn't all been bad, but, you know, LSU definitely is showing signs of improvement on the defensive side of the ball. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Shout out to everybody that is watching right now in the live. And I do have my biggest takeaways from this game. My biggest takeaways from this LSU game, man, you know, the team overall, LSU overall looked a lot better than what I seen in the previous weeks. You know, even in wins, I thought they played complimentary football. I thought they had a nice flow to the offense. I thought, you know, defense played a lot more sound. So that's my biggest takeaway is I see improvement from LSU. We got to keep watching. You know, the biggest test is going to be next week against Ole Miss. So they got to, you know, escape that. And Lane Kiffin, we all know what Lane Kiffin brings on the offensive side of the ball. So it's going to be a chess match between him and Blake Baker, you know, LSU's defensive coordinator. So that's going to be something to watch. You know, Blake Baker is one of the highest paid defensive coordinators in the league in college football. So, you know, that's going to be interesting to see. You got one of the top defensive coordinators, one of the best offensive minds. So that's going to be interesting to see, you know, going forward how LSU's defense is going to respond. But, you know, that's one of my biggest takeaways. Everything looked like it flowed naturally. Nothing was forced. It didn't look like Garrett Nussmeier was, you know, even though he did have 2 interceptions, it didn't look like he was forcing a lot of stuff. The offense didn't look forced like it did in the weeks before. So it looked like it seemed like the play callers are getting a little more comfortable calling plays for Garrett Nussmeier and his offense. And I think Caden Durham is helping them out a lot. You know, I think Caden Durham is saving this running game for LSU because before Caden Durham was introduced, it was kind of, you know, it didn't look all the way there at times, but they have something with Caden Durham. So the running game has improved the offensive lot. And, you know, if you can run the football, you can control the game, you can control the clock. So very important that LSU has a running game now. Shout out to the LSU Tigers getting the win 42-10 over South Alabama. But, you know, one of my biggest takeaways from LSU this season and from the South Alabama game is LSU has to improve. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why LSU has to improve. Let me pull up the standings here in the SEC. Excuse me. Give me 1 minute, y'all. So right now we got A&M is number 1 in the SEC right now. That's because they're the only team that's 2-0 right now in SEC play. But you got A&M, you got Texas, Alabama, you got Missouri, and you got Tennessee. We see what Tennessee is. Oklahoma fights like hell. You know, we seen what Alabama and Georgia did. Alabama and Georgia is still the two top teams in the SEC for me, right under Texas. So with that being said, I just named about 3 or 4 schools that looks better than LSU right now. That's a major concern. I think LSU is like the 5th or 6th best team in the SEC right now. And that's a problem for LSU right now. That's a big problem for LSU right now. Is the rest of the SEC looks just as good. And, you know, usually, you know, if you've been an LSU fan like I've been an LSU fan, usually LSU is the cream of the crop, the best of the best. You can see the talent. Even years where LSU didn't do as well, you can still see the talent on the field. But this year, I think the talent is there, but everybody else is just as talented. Look at Tennessee and Highpool's offense. I think I'm pronouncing his name right. Look at Alabama and what they are doing right now with Caden Dubar and Jalen Miro. Look what Georgia did to fight back in that game. You know, look at these schools like Missouri. Missouri, nobody's talking about Missouri right now. It's a lot right now going on in the SEC, and LSU has to come with it. LSU has to make sure that they improve every week because the rest of the SEC is improving. Look at Kentucky. Look at Arkansas. These are not going to be walk in the park wins for LSU. You know, LSU definitely has to play Arkansas, and Arkansas they got a brother back there that can throw the ball. So I mean, LSU really got to come with it because the rest of the SEC is improving. I mean, there is no doubt that the SEC is the best conference in football right now, and that's a concern right now for LSU because I'm looking at it, and that's the biggest takeaway from this weekend. That's the biggest takeaway from LSU. LSU looks good, but just how good? Or is LSU better than Ole Miss? Is LSU better than Missouri, Georgia, Alabama? All these teams, even an A&M that's sitting there at 4-1 on the season. I do believe that. Yeah, A&M is 4-1 on the season. You got Texas that's number 1 in the country. You got Oklahoma that's playing pretty good football right now. You know, so it's gonna be interesting to see going forward. But this test against Ole Miss next week will be the determining factor of just how good or just how bad LSU is. And let's dive a little deep into this game. Right now, you know, the starting quarterback for Ole Miss is Jackson Dart. He is let's see, let's blow him up a little bit here. I'm gonna give you his stats for the season. He has thrown for 1,800 yards, leads college football in yards right now, 13 touchdowns, 2 interceptions on the year. He is 7th in QBR at 86.5. You know, they like to spread that thing out. I was watching that game against Kentucky, and you know, one thing about Ole Miss is very pass happy, but they wasn't able to run the ball as well, even though they have ran the ball pretty well this season with Parrish. Parrish has over 70 carries already at almost 500 yards on the season, 8 touchdowns, averaging 7 yards a carry. So, you know, they have a ground game. They are very capable on the ground. So it's going to be very interesting for LSU. This is going to be a major test for LSU because the defense hasn't been consistent, and you got a team and you got a coach in Lane Kiffin that can call them plays up. So it's LSU going to have to come with it, man. I'm telling you right now because, you know, Lane Kiffin is over there licking his chops, and they got this boy out of Florida, Parrish. That last name by itself, Parrish, that name, you know, you had Roscoe Parrish, you had all them boys that played in the NFL. I can't think of the other Parrish, but I know a couple of Parrishes that played in the NFL, and Ole Miss got one that running back out of Florida. So you already know what that's hitting for. So it's going to be interesting to see, you know, but on the other side, LSU does have Garrett Nussmeier, who is right behind Jackson Dart in passing. Garrett Nussmeier on the season, he had 400 yards against South Alabama last night. Garrett Nussmeier is 15 touchdowns on the season, which is more than Jackson Dart, 1,600 yards, 4 interceptions, and he is 10th in QBR at 85.2. So these are 2 elite quarterbacks that's going to take the field next week. Well, actually, not next week, but the week after next, because LSU does have the bye. But you're looking at 2 guys right here, 2 quarterbacks that can sling that thing. So it's gonna be interesting for LSU, and it's gonna be interesting to see what running back gets to start for LSU against Ole Miss. If it's not Caden Durham, then we all gonna be screaming and throwing stuff at our TV. So you know they better get it together, man. It's for LSU, because Ole Miss coming in town and they ain't coming here. You know, they already pissed off about that loss to Kentucky. So LSU better bring it, man. And they got a receiver. Ole Miss got a receiver, man. Trey Harris, out of Louisiana, is a Lafayette, Louisiana guy. I didn't know that until I just seen it, but that's a disaster. Trey Harris is already at 800 yards through what is this? What is this? The fifth game of the season? Yeah, the fifth game of the season. This dude got 49 receptions, 804 yards, 5 touchdowns, averaging 16.4 yards a catch. That's pretty good. I mean, that sounds like a Belinda candidate right there, man. I mean, 800 yards, and we only threw 5 games of the season. What he got? I'm terrible at man. With like 6, 7 more games left. So, I don't know if we got a DB that can stop this guy. I'm being honest with you. I don't know if LSU got a DB that can stop this guy. Trey Harris for Ole Miss out of our backyard in Lafayette, Louisiana. That's a disaster to let this guy get out of our backyard right here. He's a senior at that. So it's been so we can't charge up to Brian Kelly. I think that was under Ed Orgeron era right there if he's a senior. But the guy's right out of Lafayette, Louisiana, man. So Trey Harris will get this LSU defense problems, man. If you are watching on live right now, please leave me a comment. I can put you up on the screen like my guy, Coach Buckles. Shout out to Coach Buckles and the Hammer High Tornadoes. But if you are watching, I can put your comment on the screen. The only thing is Instagram. I can't get Instagram comments on here yet. But shout out to everybody that is watching on Instagram. A lot of our high school guys watch on Instagram. But you are north of the lake. We are talking this LSU versus Ole Miss matchup. If you got a comment, please leave a comment. But it's going to be an interesting game for LSU in 2 weeks against Ole Miss in Death Valley. I might just ride down there for that one. I don't know. We'll see what time. I don't know if they came out with a time for this game yet. Let me check. Let's see, do they have a time for this? No, the time is still to be decided for LSU versus Ole Miss, but I might just ride down there and see what that's hitting for, bro. I don't know. I might try to get some tickets to that game. I'm interested to see what LSU is going to do against Ole Miss. This is going to be very interesting for Brian Kelly. In some of the losses that LSU has had during the Brian Kelly era, I feel like he has been out coaching some of these games. So he's facing another premier coach in Lane Kiffin. So you got to show up, Brian Kelly. You got that game plan got to be crisp in order to beat this Ole Miss team. We seen what happened last year when they scored 50 points on LSU. So this got to be a game that Brian Kelly makes a statement on. You gonna have some people side eyeing you if you drop this one. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna start calling for nobody's job or get emotional, and as an LSU fan, but this is a prove-it game right here, man. I mean, you can't get out-coached this game. I mean, we know what type of coach Lane Kiffin is, but Brian Kelly is making $10 million a year. So I want to see things crisp. I want to see natural flow to the offense, nothing forced. I want to see the defense ball out. You playing Blake Baker is like the highest paid defensive coordinator in college football. So he got to show up. I mean, let's be honest. Like, everybody else on our regular job, let's just say, you work at Walmart and you're the store manager. Well, guess what? If you're the highest paid person in that store, all the blame and all the criticism is going to go to you if that store isn't being ran right. Same thing with Brian Kelly at LSU. It's no different than anybody else on any other job. So we're going to see when it comes down to LSU in 2 weeks. Shout out to the LSU Tigers. Shout out to everybody that's watching. This is North of the Lake Sports Talk Live. This is episode 5 of season 2. Thank y'all for continued support. Shout out to everybody that's watching right now. And if you don't catch me live, make sure you leave a comment in the comment section and I will get it either on the screen if you are live or after. I will respond to you after the live because I like to argue. So if you think I'm tripping, let me know. I got to get into my top 5. Just from observing college football this week, this is my top 5. This is North of the Lake's top 5. And I'm gonna put it on the screen for you guys and let me know what y'all think about this. I got Miami coming in at number 5. I got Miami coming in at number 5 because I do believe Miami has one of the best players in the country in Ward and Denzel Ward. Just from what I've seen this season, they have struggled against some lesser opponents. I think they played Virginia Tech and I don't know. I thought they had lost that game, but the Hail Mary proved to be incomplete. Miami did escape against Virginia Tech, but I do think they have the Heisman candidate and Denzel. I think I'm saying his name wrong. What is that brother's name? Ward. I know the quarterback for Miami, but coming at number 4 is Tennessee. I have Tennessee at number 4 because of defense, and they have a dude back there at quarterback too. They got a brother back there that can run it and throw it. So, Tennessee is a scary team to me because not only do they have a athlete at quarterback, they have a defense that can get stops. And when you have a guy who can extend the play, get first downs, keep the chains moving, and you got a defense to go behind that, watch out. And he can spin it. And they got that defense over there. Ohio State is coming in at number 3. I have Ohio State here really just for the purpose of they have not lost yet. We haven't seen a lot from Ohio State, but we know what Ohio State is. Ohio State has athletes. They have receivers out there that's catching the ball. They have a defense that can run in space. So I have Ohio State coming in number 3. I do believe they were well coached by Ryan Day. So I got Ohio State at number 3 until they prove me wrong. I got Alabama coming in at number 2. I got Bama at number 2 because they Alabama. I mean, I hate to say that as an LSU fan, but they still look like Alabama without Nick Saban. We saw what they did versus Georgia last night, and they look like the best team in college football. And I almost put them at number 1, but the only reason I didn't put them at number 1 is because of what Texas has at quarterback. But Alabama did look good against Georgia. I mean, it really wasn't a contest, but Georgia did start to fight back late. I contemplated about putting Georgia on this list, but because Georgia struggled with Kentucky the week before, and they got pretty much blew out the first 3 quarters of that game against Alabama, that's why Georgia did not make my top 5. But I did have to put Bama at number 2. I was debating put them at number 1. But the only reason why I go with Texas at number 1 is because Texas has 2 quarterbacks that probably will be first-round picks. That's why Texas get this number 1 spot, because if one of their quarterbacks go down, I think Quentin Ewers will be back in a couple weeks, maybe next week. I haven't read the injury report, but I know he's not going to be out long. So when you got 2 quarterbacks that probably are future first-round picks in Arch Manning and Quentin Ewers, that's why I got Texas at number 1, because if one of their quarterbacks go down, the next one's going to step up. Then they got guys out there that can run the ball. They got guys that can catch. Their defense is playing sound football right now, but they haven't been battle tested. So we're going to see how Texas comes out in this thing right now. But this is North of the Lakes top 5. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. If y'all agree or not, let me know what would you change about this top 5? If you're watching right now, what would you change about this top 5? This is North of the Lakes top 5 right now. Like I said, I got Miami coming in at number 5. I got Tennessee at number 4. I got Ohio State at number 3. I got 2 Alabama, 1 Texas. Like I said, Texas looks like the most complete team to me right now, followed by Alabama. It's a toss-up. The SEC is a scary place right now. You got Texas at 1, Bama 2, Tennessee at 4. I could have kept Georgia in here. Some people are making the case for Missouri as well. And then you got teams like Ole Miss that lost. LSU is playing good football right now. The SEC is a scary place right now. But let me know what y'all think about that top 5. That's North of the Lakes top 5. If you're just joining me, let me know what you think. Leave a comment. But like I said, college football, this is a great year for college football. I could also put Oregon into this conversation, but they have been looking shaky. Excuse me. And they got teams that's starting to play good football like LSU. Shout out to Coach Prime in Colorado. They got the win as well against UCF. They are starting to gain some traction as well. They had that blowout loss to Nebraska. Then they coming back. So I think Travis Hunt is making a case for winning the Heisman right now. So shout out to Colorado as well. But that's just a side note. We can't get too high on Colorado, but there's a lot of teams right now that are making some noise. And this is this is North of the Lakes top 5 right now. If you think any different, if you want to give your opinion, please let me know in the comments and we can get to it. We can get to it. Let me know what you think about this top 5. This is North of the Lakes top 5. We got Texas at 1, Bama 2, Ohio State 3, Tennessee at 4, and Miami. But I'm not even gonna lie to you. I think Tennessee could surprise a lot of people and end up in the championship game, maybe playing against Texas if they don't meet. However the SEC championship game works out. I think it may be Texas, Alabama, or maybe Alabama, Tennessee. The SEC is a scary place right now. So let me know what y'all think about this top 5. I worked hard on this list. I really did. I I took my time and I said, well, who would I put in and why wouldn't I? Like I said, Miami is at number 5 because of the quarterback. Cam Ward is the quarterback's name. I was saying Denzel Ward. That's the cornerback for the Cleveland Browns. But Cam Ward right now looks like the best player in the country. That's why Miami did make my top 5 over Georgia, over some other schools, over Oregon and some old people. So until Cam Ward and Miami prove me wrong, they got to be in the top 5. Tennessee, with Josh Heupel's offense, you got to put them in there. They playing some good football right now. Let me know what y'all think about this top 5. Leave a comment if you disagree. Let me know who would you have at number 5 and why. Who would you have? Or just shoot me your top 5 in the comments, and I will argue with you about it. I will argue with you about that. So let me know what you think about that top 5. But this is your boy Merwin Sean. That's at NOTL Podcast. Please repost the live if you are watching right now. Please repost the live. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you are watching this live, please share the live right now as we get ready to go into who is the best team in the country right now. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. I already kind of told you who I think is the best team in the country right now, and that's the Texas Longhorns because of their quarterback situation, because of Steve Sarkisian and what he is as a coach. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Let me know what y'all think in the comments right now. I got Texas being the best team in the country, but I don't want to rule out Alabama either. Just the way Alabama look, the way Jalen Miro is throwing the football with accuracy, the way he can extend the play. I mean, and when he take off, he running that thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, he ain't just back there he's just not a running back at quarterback. I mean, he can throw it. He made some very accurate throws. So Alabama could be I can see why a lot of people would have Alabama. I mean, I would not be surprised if the national poll or the college football poll, if the college football playoff poll had Alabama at number 1 over Texas right now, because Texas hasn't played the same level of competition. But let me know who y'all think is the best team in the country. I got Texas at number 1, but I think Tennessee can make a case for number 1. I think Alabama can make a case for number 1. Ohio State, not so much because of the schedule that they have played. But I do think Texas and Alabama, excuse me, has looked the best out of all of these teams. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. If you are watching this live, please leave me a comment. If you are not watching live, if you've seen it a little later on, leave a comment anyway and let me know who your top 5 is, who your best team in the country is, and I'll get back with you. I'll see what you think about that. But right now, we gotta give another shout out to our sponsors. That is the Insurance Depot, 985-618-322. Shout out to the Insurance Depot. They do taxes, they do personal insurance, business insurance, health insurance. Please reach out to Mr. Kevin and Miss Reva Jackson. That is at 985-618-3222. That's 985-618-3222. So please give them a call. I have all my insurance through them. I have my house insurance through them. I have my home insurance. I say house and home, same thing. I have my commercial insurance through them. I have my car insurance. You name it, all the insurances, and they also do my taxes. So shout out to the Insurance Depot. That's Mr. Kevin and Miss Reva Jackson. Please give my people a call when you get a chance. That is 985-618-3222. So shout out to the Insurance Depot as we get ready to go into the New Orleans Saints. Oh, man, these New Orleans Saints, once again, the New Orleans Saints did lose to Atlanta Falcons 26-24. Unfortunately, just as the topic header says, I mean, turnovers killed the Saints right out the gate. Raheem Shaheed muffed the punt. I mean, right at probably around the 2-yard line. I was very perplexed about why he even attempted to catch that, so close to the goal line when he probably could let it go over his head for a touchback in the end zone. But a guy like Raheem Shaheed, he is an explosive guy. So if it would have went well, we would have clapped, but it went wrong. So we was all mad about it. And, when he muffed it into the end zone, and the Atlanta Falcons was able to pounce on it. And that pretty much set the tone for the game for New Orleans Saints when it came to turnovers. Derek Carr had another pick 6. The ball was batted. It wasn't an errant throw. It was just batted in the air. And the Atlanta Falcons was able to score on that. But outside of those 2 touchdowns that were both turnovers were resulting into an immediate touchdown. So without those without penalties and without turnovers, the Saints probably would have won this game handedly. But because of the turnovers, certain turnovers killed the Saints. Saints had 2 turnovers, 2 big turnovers, and the injury bug. Right now, the Saints have that injury bug right now as well. We can get into that a little in a couple minutes here, but just overall game. Let me go ahead and read you the stats for this game. Excuse me. Like I said, I'm still trying to get over this cold, y'all. So please bear with me. I'm still coughing, still sneezing a little bit. But Derek Carr was 28 of 36, 239 yards and an interception. That one interception did prove to be costly. Pick 6. Alvin Kamara looks good. I mean, he really looks good. The way Alvin Kamara was running the ball in this game, I thought the Saints had a real good shot of putting some distance in between the Falcons. But turnovers was pretty much the thesis of this game. That's pretty much what it came down to. But Alvin Kamara was 19 for 77 and a touchdown on the ground, man. Alvin Kamara looks like his old self. I mean, he looks like one of those running backs that can play into his mid-30s, like Frank Gore did. I'm not saying he's going to play as long as Frank Gore did, but he looked good going, at the age he's at right now. Chris Olave added 8 receptions for 87 yards on the ground. But I thought Raheem Shaheed did make up for that turnover. He was 8 for 83 on the day as well. So he was very productive in his own right. But that one touchdown that one muff punt at the beginning of the game kind of put the Saints on in a bad situation. They was playing catch up for most of that game because of that. Even when they got the lead, they had to turn over again by Derek Carr. Ball was batted in the air, and that was the story of the game for the New Orleans Saints. The Atlanta Falcons didn't look that impressive. I mean, had the Saints not shot themselves in the foot, I gonna give you a Carmen Moore quote when I played at Ham High. Coach Morris to tell us, y'all didn't shoot yourself in the foot. Y'all blew your whole damn foot off, and that's what the Saints did today. I mean, they didn't shoot themselves in the foot. They blew their whole damn foot off. I mean, they gift wrapped the game to the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, like I said, Atlanta, I think Atlanta may be the 3rd best team in the division right now. Tampa Bay got the win, so Tampa Bay is sitting in firm control of the NFC South. They look very impressive against, I believe they played the Eagles today, and they look very impressive. I was watching some of that. I'm also watching Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels got the win here. I'm sitting here watching against the Arizona Cardinals. They put up 42 points against the Cardinals for 14. So shout out to our boy Jaden Daniels, man. Y'all know we love Jaden Daniels around here, but I got this game on in front of me. It just went off. But as far as the New Orleans Saints go, it just, the Saints are going to go as far as they take themselves, because I still have faith in this Saints team. I think they can still win the NFC South and get a playoff spot. I think they are one of the better teams in the league, but it all has to come together. You can't shoot yourself in the foot or blow your foot off for that matter. But, one of the things going forward that is a concern is the injuries for the Saints. I mean, let's read it off. I mean, you got Eric McCoy that went down last week. He didn't play in this game, but I thought the offensive line did hold their own. I mean, it wasn't perfect. Trevor Penning continues to struggle, but I guess he still held his own as well. When it comes to that. But we got Tyrann Mathieu went down with an injury. He didn't play the rest of that game, and I thought that kind of hurt the Saints a little bit in coverage. Tyrann Mathieu did go down. I still don't have any word what's going on with Tyrann Mathieu, but Demario Davis missed the game as well. With a hamstring injury that hurt the Saints. You can tell that on some of those rushing plays. I thought the Falcons ran for a little more yards than they would have had Demario Davis been out there. We all know what type of player Demario Davis is. And Taysom Hill had 2 touchdowns in his game, 2 red zone touchdowns, but he did go out with an injury as well. So that's going to be concerning going forward for the New Orleans Saints, man. So injuries, the injury bug is plaguing the Saints right now. I could be missing somebody as well. A concern for me, I didn't see a lot of snaps from Cam Jordan. I know Cam Jordan is getting up there in age a little bit. I'm not sure if he's hurt or not, but it's missed opportunities for the Saints that caused them to lose this game. That's my biggest takeaway from this game is turnovers. And the one by Raheem Shaheed, it should have never happened. He probably should let the ball go into the end zone. And then we probably talking about a different game, because the Saints did go down on the first drive and score. So we were starting to think that it was going to be like it usually is, how it was the first 2 games when the Saints beat the Panthers and then put all those points up on the Cowboys. That's the type of game that I was looking for. I was looking for that type of game the way they started, But we're going to see going forward, because it looked good. It just the turnovers killed. I mean, like I said, they blew their whole foot off. They didn't shoot themselves in the foot. They blew their whole foot off. And injuries is a problem right now for the Saints. I mentioned that. And the missed opportunity for that field goal when the Saints did go for fourth down on the goal line. If you was watching that Saints versus Falcons today, I think, you know, if Dennis Allen could have that back, I think he would have kicked that field goal. And then, you know, the Falcons would have had to score a touchdown on that last drive in order to win the game. So I think if he could get that back, I think if Dennis Allen could get that back. But if was a fifth, we'll all be drunk. I still think the Saints played a good game. I think Dennis Allen did make the right call because I thought in the moment that was the right thing to do, just go ahead and try to get the points. But, you know, if it was a fifth, I think if he can go back and do it over, knowing what he know now, I think he would have hit that field goal, but we're not going to hold that to them. But one of my biggest takeaways from this game was the play of the Saints offensive line. Despite the injuries, you know, Ryan Ramczyk is out for the season. He didn't even make it into this season because of a surgery. I think that he's still not over. I can't recall what surgery he had. But, you know, you're missing Ryan Ramczyk, who was a former Pro Bowl guard. So you're missing him, and then you got Eric McCoy, who's the strength of the offensive line that was down in this game. But I thought the Saints offensive line still played well despite what the injuries that they had. So that's a positive going into next week against the Kansas City Chiefs, the defending Super Bowl champions, and Patrick Mahomes. I was watching some of that game today. Let's see what happened. Did they get the win or not? I think they are still playing right now. Kansas City is tied 10-10 with the Los Angeles Chargers in the fourth quarter, 8 minutes left. Patrick Mahomes not having too good of a game. He is 16 of 26, 192 yards, touchdown, interception. You know, it's like the whole NFL right now. You're not seeing these quarterbacks like the lead up the way that they was at one time. You're not seeing that anymore. It's more of like the defense is winning. You don't see all these crazy passing numbers like you did when Drew Brees was here in New Orleans, like around 2011 and around that era when he was breaking all those passing records. I'm not sure if anybody will ever beat some of those passing records of Drew Brees now because the quarterback's just not having those type of performances anymore. As we see what Patrick Mahomes did today, you know, the game is 10-10. The Chiefs do have the ball, so we'll see what happens. But the Kansas City Chiefs is 3-0 on the season. The Saints are at 2-2. So this is going to be a big game for the New Orleans Saints going into Kansas City. Let me see if this game is at home. Let's see. Is the Saints playing the Kansas City Chiefs at home? Let's see if this is a home game. Yeah, so this is a home game for the Saints. So Kansas City is coming into the New Orleans Superdome, so that is a plus. They're going to have the dome field advantage. But, you know, I'm not looking for the Saints to win this game, to be honest with you. Can they win the game? Yes, but when you got somebody like Patrick Mahomes is like LeBron James, like Michael Jordan. He's like one of those type of athletes in the NFL, and you can never count out Patrick Mahomes, even if you got him. Even if you think you got him, you ain't got him. So I'm looking for the Saints to fight like hell. If the Saints do pull this win off next week, it would do a lot going into the rest of the season because the schedule kind of gets a little more favorable for the Saints going forward, because after Kansas City, they got the Buccaneers, who just won against the Eagles, who is in control of the NFC South right now, sitting at number 1. Then you go to the Broncos, who have struggled mightily all season. Then you got the Chargers, followed by the Panthers. Then you back at the Falcons. So the schedule looks a little more set up in the Saints' favor going forward. So this is going to be a big game against the Kansas City Chiefs. I thought Derek Carr played well today, well enough to win. You know, it's that one bad. I mean, if you take out that batted pass, which led to a pick 6, I thought Derek Carr played pretty well outside of that. So we're gonna see what Derek Carr does next week against the Kansas City Chiefs. But shout out to everybody that has watched this live. If you are on this live right now, please leave a comment in the comments. And even after I end the live, make sure you guys comment on the video and share this video. If you would like to support the platform, the Cash App is at the bottom. This is North of the Lake Sports Talk Live, Season 2, Episode 5. Shout out to everybody that has joined this live so far as we get ready to wrap things up. If you're in right now and getting ready to wrap things up, if you're on Instagram, please shoot me a DM. I can't put the Instagram comments on the screen, but shoot me a DM and let me know what you think about the show. If you are a high school athlete, please let me check Instagram and see who's all over here on Instagram watching. Shout out to everybody that's watching right now on Instagram. Shout out to all my Hammer High guys over there. I see you over there, man. Shout out to Johnny Ray Barbecue. I see Johnny Ray up in here. Shout out to Franklin Morgan Jr., Jay Beyond, man. I ain't forgot about you. Shout out to TJ. Shout out to Scrap'em Ocho. I see you, my boy. I see you. I think that's Arnell, if I'm not mistaken. Shout out to him. He was a player of the week a couple weeks ago. Shout out to everybody that's in this live right now. Some of y'all got some names on here that I can't realize what it is. Y'all know how y'all put y'all names on Instagram, but shout out to everybody that's watching on Instagram. Like I said, if y'all watching on Instagram, a lot of my high school guys is over there on Instagram. If you got some highlights, just send them, just DM them to me, bro. I'll put you on this on. I'll put you out here. I'm gonna try to get Coach Buckles on here next week. And so just let me know, man. If there's anything that I could do for y'all guys, please let me know. DM me, whatever I can do for you, for the guys here in Tangipahoa Parish, but not only in Tangipahoa Parish, but on the North Shore. All the scores were at the bottom of the screen. Shout out to Independence High School, which was the game of the week. They beat They beat Albany 27-8. Shout out to Independence Tiger, was the game of the week. Shout out to Aiden Seth, who was from Hammer High School, player of the week, one of our player of the week. He had 5 tackles, 1 sack, an interception, and a fumble recovery. That's Aiden Seth from Hammond High School. Also, Jermaine Brown out of Kentwood, also player of the week, showed some speed out there. And Zaylen Bennett, also of Hammond High School, he had 13 carries, 153 yards, and a touchdown. Let's go back to some of these highlights here. Over here, this is Aiden Seth right here. If y'all did not see, this is one of our players of the week right here. Shout out to him. You're going to see a nice interception right here from Aiden in the middle. High point the ball. Go ahead and make something out of it. Here he is again, right here coming through the middle. Pursuit, and I think he may have picked up the fumble there. But shout out to Aiden Seth as well. And we got the guy out of Kentwood. This is Mr. Jermaine Brown Jr. showing some speed. Shout out to him, man. I said, bro, Kentwood keeps some speed under that water tower. I don't know what they drinking in that water tower, but he off to the races. You see the speed right there. Guy had an angle on him, but he says goodbye all the way to the end zone, man. Shout out to Jermaine Brown, number 6 for the Kentwood Kangaroos under that water tower. But I think they was playing in LaRonja. High point the ball. Give me that in the end zone, man. In the end zone. He should have did his dance right there. He should have gone got that 15-yard penalty. I'm just playing. Don't tell your coach I said that. But here we go. Gets the ball to the outside, around the corner, bends the corner, and he gone. They can't catch him. Shout out to Jermaine Brown of Kentwood. Let's see. He got another play here. Let's see what he does here. They get him out there on that. What's that? Okay. I don't think it's the same guy here. But shout out to the Kentwood Kangaroos, man, on the season. And also, we had my boy Zaylen Bennett, man, number 2, man, for Hammer High School. He been running that thing this year, y'all. Get off me. Get off me all the way. Look at the finish. Get off me. Derrick Henry somebody to the end zone, man. He been having a great season out there for Hammer High under the leadership of Coach Buckles, man. Shout out to my Hammer High tornado. Look at the swag, man. Yeah, man. Do your handshake, bro. Go and do your handshake, man. Go ahead and do it, bro. So that's what we're looking at right there. Shout out to everybody that has watched this live, man. This is NOTL Sports Talk. I think this is a good place to leave it. We will be back next week, Lord willing, at 5 p.m. All my high school guys, thank you. I appreciate you. My tangent athletes, best in the world. I just displayed that for you. We the best in the world. You can go argue with your mama about that. I'm gonna say that till I die. Like I said, I played at Hammer High School, class of 2011. Shout out to all the alumni from Hammer High School, man. Our homecoming is October 11th. Listen, I'm already planning for it. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there live. I'm going to be there lit. So, I'm looking forward to that, man. But shout out to everybody that's watching this live. The scores are at the bottom. Hey, man, y'all come holler at me next week now, bro. Come holler at me next week. I can't wait to see what y'all do next week. But, hit them DMs. Thank y'all for tuning in. This was episode 5 of season 2, North of the Lake Marvin Sean, and I'm out of here, y'all. Appreciate y'all. Another week.